Welcome back to Ame's Bookshelf. I'm Teresa Garcia, or Amehana Arashi, depending where you know me from. Author, poet, illustrator, narrator, editor, and a bunch of other wonderful hats that sometimes like to all go on at once. Today, I am here to review Johnny Frankenstein, the Undying Detective, by author John F. Morrissey. You can find this book on Amazon or on Barnes & Noble. However, if you prefer to go to a brick-and-mortar store, please request they order it for you. I'm going to rate this as a 4.75 for reasons that I will explain later. And I'm rating this as PG to PG-13. That's, where I would say the line is. In this book, your everyday guy loses everything in his life, survives being homeless for a time, and contemplates ending it all at the local bridge once everything gets to be too much for him. Just as he is deciding whether to back down or to leap in, he is taken out by a semi hauling classified chemicals, the choice taken from him. His life ends, but a new one begins. When he wakes in a facility that the government has abandoned, he must come to grips with the fact that not only are monsters real, but he is now one of them. To be the cherry on top of the sundae, he discovers that now he is the operational brain of one of the most famous monsters of all time. Now to make a life for himself. He had served his community in his old life, and even in this new life, he is drawn to serve and protect. This time he becomes a particular class of private detective working at arm's length with none other than the government spooks, doing all the legwork. This assignment he has to solve the mystery of what sort of monster is picking off a small rural backwater, protect the children, and find a way to permanently deal with the creature. What sort of monster protects kids? Frankenstein, of course, and especially if they happen to write him. I found this book to be well-paced and a great use of monster folklore. What the creature could be had me racking my brain and going through everything that I could remember about Pacific Northwest folklore and cryptid lore. The only thing I could think of was Canadian, so at first I was disappointed in myself. I learned some new folklore, though, and found out that I had been correct after all, which was gratifying, and now have a local variation of a type that I hope I will remember. I found the first-person point of view to be convincing. It was like I was sitting there having a beer with Johnny Frankenstein and listening to him tell me about his case. Fans of first-person point of view books should enjoy this one. Key characters are set up in such a way that we can anticipate learning more about them and seeing them grow later in the series. Even the non-key characters are written in a way that you could actually imagine them going about their lives. Now, to explain the slight dip in my rating. On Amazon, I gave this 5 stars because they don't do partial stars, and because I don't feel that it warranted a complete star drop. But in my own personal things off of Amazon, I'm rating it 4.75, because I do get to take off increments of a star. I did notice a few typos, and small tiny things like the there thing. Spell check doesn't catch those. Reading over them by an author is not always going to catch those either, as an author may see the word spelled correctly, knowing the story, while an editor or a reader will see what the typo bunny, a demented cousin of the Easter Bunny, I am convinced of this, has actually done. I also saw one place where a misplaced keystroke seemed to have knocked out a bit of a word. It happens. I see these from time to time, even in books from the big houses, and I could understand what was being written, so it simply doesn't warrant a full star drop. I would also have liked a little longer of a story, so I am very glad that this is a series. I can also understand why the author set his price as he did, as an indie author does still have to make sure he can pay the bills. This was still cheaper than buying a story from a big publisher. I greatly enjoyed this story, and I do plan to pick up the others in the series as my budget allows. I think currently right now I have the second one in the series sitting on my phone waiting for me to get to it, and if I haven't gotten it there yet, it is because I just haven't gotten a chance to go and make sure that I have it or not yet. It's definitely in my to-be-read pile, though. So, if this story sounds interesting to you, please do go out and get it. And I do suggest following the rest of his stories. Until next time, have a good night.